Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Self-Love TV. Today's topic is going to be entitled Self-Sabotage. I know you guys saw the title, but I'm starting a series today talking about things that we actually do to ourselves that can actually deter us from learning and being able to discover self-love. When I started this channel, I talked more about how to love ourselves and what loving ourselves is and how it feels and all of that. But I want to talk about a little bit some of the ways in which we prevent that from happening. And one of them is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is when we actively or passively do things to ourselves that prevent us from achieving certain things in life, goals, whether it's like career paths, relationships, or either just personal goals like weight loss, or those things that we could do for ourselves that would make us embrace who we are. So self-sabotage is definitely one of those things, and we need to dig deep into where that comes from and why. And a lot of times we feel that we're not deserving of certain things. And why don't we feel that we're deserving of certain things? Sometimes in life, your past environmental situations or relationships you've been in and your upbringing can be so traumatic that the things that happen in your life makes you feel that you're not deserving of certain things. In some ways, a lot of people do that, and I'm not going to say they consciously do it. I think sometimes we subconsciously do it, because when your life has been on a certain path, just traumatic stuff, events that happen one after another, that is what that's what you become used to. It's like a habit. It's like, this is all I know. So if anything outside of that happens that is good, that feels good, that looks good, oftentimes we feel like we don't deserve this. This is too good to be true. This can't be happening to me because I'm so used to all of this. Things being chaotic and just out of control. And so that when something beautiful happens or somebody beautiful comes into our life that wants to love us, that wants to support us or give us things, we're feeling like, okay, it's something going on here. What is their story? What they want from me? We actively sabotage our own happiness because we don't feel that we deserve that. So we need to take a look at the things that shaped us into feeling like we don't deserve the good life. There's no one, and I will say this confidently, that should feel that they don't deserve to have a good life. When you were born innocently. And sometimes you can't, well, a lot of times you can't control the path that you were set on, the people who had to raise you. That wasn't a choice of yours. So sometimes that can shape you into the person that you become, because you're often fighting to survive. And so sometimes that can build in you anger. It can build in you, evil. It actually can, because if you live a life where you're always constantly having to fight and crawl and snatch and tear for things, and if you're always in that defensive mode of making your life happen or trying to just survive and get the things that you need, there's no room for you to feel happy or feel loved. So a lot of times, once we're away from that, we continue living that way because we were used to that. We were used to not being able to have good things, or not being able to have a good person in our life that actually was there to love us. I've seen that a lot in different relationships, and I'm going to say that maybe I was a victim to that at some point myself, because when you grow up and you grow up in an environment where all you see is violence and people, not talking to each other lovingly and always fighting, you just don't know any other way. That's all that you know. So when you meet someone who's trying to love you, trying to give you something good, and trying to be with you, you often feel like, okay, they have a motive. It's got to be a reason why they want something from me, because nobody's this nice. So oftentimes we put ourselves in these situations where we self-sabotage our lives. So we got to figure out where that happened, and we got to learn how to be better. The only way to stop self-sabotaging yourself is to actually be really honest and authentic and vulnerable, and recognize the fact that you are hurting and that you're in pain, and that some things has happened to you that has caused you to not be trusting of people, and there's some things that has happened to you in your life or experiences that you've gone through has put up a wall that's helped build this wall that you don't trust anything outside of yourself. You have to recognize that, and then you have to seek the help that you need to be able to work through those challenges. You know, oftentimes it's bigger than us. Sometimes you have to seek out professional help to help a person, to help you to align yourself and recognize when you're sabotaging your own happiness, when actually sometimes people are there just to help, and sometimes people are there to extend themselves and be friendly, and that everybody that comes into your life is not trying to harm you. This doesn't mean that you allow yourself to be victim to anybody that comes into your life, but recognize and being able to recognize the good from the bad. And oftentimes we need help and assistance with that, you know. But a lot of times it does mean sitting down and recognizing and admitting to ourselves the areas of our lives where we have faults. If you're always judging someone, if you're always pointing out someone's flaws, that's a personal internal issue with you, because you shouldn't always be picking apart someone else. You shouldn't be looking at the next person, the next woman, or the next man and judging them if you don't know them. You need to judge people based on your experience with them that you have yourself, not looking at them or listening to other people. You know, you have to actually get to know a person with yourself one-on-one before you can determine what that person is like. You know, to sit up and look at a person and judge them based on what you see is actually wrong. So a lot of times when people self-sabotage, they start finding fault in things so that they don't allow it into their lives. That could be with people. We often look at people and say, you know, they look like they may be a liar. They look like they cheat. Or look at her, she must be this way, or he's that way. And you're sabotaging, you know, probably or could be a good relationship, if nothing more than a friendship. So we have to recognize when we're putting up the walls before we even get an opportunity to get to know people. Because when you're sabotaging yourself, you cannot truly know what it means to actually love yourself, because you're too busy being defensive all the time and too busy trying to find fault in things to protect yourself. You're trying to protect yourself from what you think might happen. And you cannot live in that world and feel that you're going to be happy and that you're going to be loving yourself, because you're always at this heightened emotional state of protection. And I got to keep, you know, people out and be defensive about everything in your life. And that is a lot of people in this world. You know, I've met people that I could tell, because I have this heightened intuition of people, and I can tell that they are deep down good people, but they've been so hurt that they won't allow anybody to get anywhere near them. And it's sad, because to know that that person is walking around not happy with themselves, and they're not going to love themselves because they're not allowing themselves to actually look at the things in their life that has caused them to go so deep within that they won't allow anybody close to them. So on this journey of self-love, we got to recognize when we ourselves are the problem, because of things that we have allowed to stop us from fully embracing life, and to know that there is love out there, that there's people out there that are good, that want to be in your life, that really want to have great experiences with you, that want to support you, that want to be friends with you. And that we're sabotaging our own happiness and our own love by not working on those things that are preventing us from being fully the person that we could be. So thank you for tuning in today to Self-Love TV. I hope this has been helpful. If anything, I hope it awakens you to look at yourself and to examine where you are in your life, and to see if you are self-sabotaging yourself from happiness and love. And I'll see you in the next video. Remember always, peace and love. Bye.